Hello everybody. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of running at the beginning of this, and I hope you're still with me. Thought it was a bit nicer than having my mug in your face right at the beginning of the video. So as you saw by the title of this, there's quite a bit in this video, but I think first of all, bit of context. Today's Sunday the 8th of May. And on this day, the video on being played on the TV behind me, which is the bottleneck one, over the weekend went crazy for my channel. Went from my usual 200-300 views, and as of now it's got 1.4, I think 1,450, and it went absolutely mad, well, for my channel. So in this you're going to see a bit of the analytics and see what happens with the analytics when you get a video take off. Now, it doesn't have to be your mega ones that get millions of views, just our little ones. It does reflect in the analytics. So I've got some pictures of that, so not much on there. So I hope you'll be interested in that. That'll be later on. And the other reason for doing it today is I finally got the whole of my layout into iTrains. That's with all the wiring complete, the lengths, the stopping distances and everything like that. And I'm really delighted, I really am. It's been a long old job. So I'll show you a bit of that, and I'm going to show you what you saw at the beginning with those trains running, maybe not what you thought it was. So I'll explain that, and we'll just have, you know, a few bit of an update as well perhaps, and anything else I can throw into the mix, because at the moment I've got no video except what I'm filming now. So we'll see how we go. And then I think finally I must thank all my new subscribers that have come on over the weekend. I think I've had about 20 odd all come on. So thanks very much. I hope you'll enjoy the channel. Please look back at some of my older stuff. There's a lot on there. Even my first video I ever uploaded is in there. Yeah, have a look at that. Yeah, okay. But we've all got to start somewhere, haven't we? So I think that's about the lot from me, and I'll see you a bit later on, probably near the end, just to finalise really iTrains, because you know, I'm there now, I've got it all on, it's all working reasonably well. Been a bit inquisitive about the clock on the thumbnails that was up for this. I'll explain that as well. So cheers everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.
So I thought I'd bring on the overhead camera again, because that was in the last one and that was quite a successful video for me. So, and I mentioned that the way these trains were controlled was not quite what you might have thought. So I think we need to go into that, and I'll explain how each of these trains was controlled. So if you bear with me, thank you. So as with all things iTrains, we need to go to the computer, I'm afraid. And as you can see, I've got my control part up on the computer. And we've got the trains as they are at the moment, and I'll explain how this works.
So let's start with the easy ones first. So we've got the HST, which is obviously this one, sitting there, and that's under control with that route, the roundy, the outer one. The second one we have is the Class 37 with its Mark III cross-country coaches, obviously this one, and that's under iTrains control with the outside, the back seat, as is the 101 DMU, which is sitting here, again with the outside roundy behind the back seat. So let's go from this and we'll go to the next one, which is the Class 411. No picture for this yet because I'm in too late to put filming. But that's actually sitting in the station, but earlier on you saw it running around on this inside track. And this was, although it was on that track, it wasn't actually under iTrains control. It was me setting a speed and it went round like in the old days. So it just went round and round and round, didn't stop anywhere, didn't affect the signals or anything like that. So that was that one. And if we then go back to the one that's on there now, the outside, which is N7, which is the local passenger train, that's sitting, so this one here, that's sitting on the outside, on the inside circuit. And this one was under computer control with the inside roundy, as you can see here. So the one I haven't touched on is the one that's not actually on there at the moment, but we'll get there and I'll show you, which is actually sitting here, and I'll show you what it is. The Hornby Class 66 with its container train is not on iTrains for the simple fact it's not in iTrains, it's not in it at all. And the way to get to control it is if I minimise iTrains, there it is. So I'm using the DigiKeys DR5000 to control that train. And that's how I did it. So I have that running round and I can control the lights, the speed and the sounds if I want to. Not that I know what all those do. I know F1 does the sound, but that's about it. And probably F2 or F3 is a horn. And I just control it by raising it up, and that was running round at 20 speed steps, so not too fast. But what I did find is, I think when this is running round, it does interfere with the program, because iTrains sort of can sense it's going round but doesn't know what it is. So I think it did give me some problems, so I probably won't be doing that very often. But it just shows you can mix them and put a train on that isn't in iTrains. Although I will at some stage obviously get this Hornby 66 in, along with the Hatton 66. And then when you finish controlling that and just letting it go, you just go back to iTrains and it carries on. So that's how we do that.
So I just thought I'd show you a little bit more of the overhead camera. Won't see this again in this video, I'm afraid, so have a look at this and see what you think. But they're all running very well. As you can see, the Class 66 is running round. But as I said earlier, it did cause a few problems with trains being lost on the switchboard and everything. So not very good for my nerves, to be honest. But yeah, I was happy how iTrains was working. I mean, it might be that I'm asking it to do too much, but it's a very fast computer that I've got operating it, and there isn't an awful lot on that computer except iTrains. So I would be very surprised if the computer isn't quick enough to keep track of everything.
So now for the update and what's still to be done. But the picture you can see at the moment is of our 101 DMU in the north terminal station and the 121 bubble car in the south terminal station. And I've set up some shuttles between these two stations for both of these at the same time. I wasn't able to use the one that we've seen before because they just lock each other up. So I've actually done a separate one for the 121 bubble car. But I'm still expecting them to lock up at some stage. And also in the picture is the signal at the end of the north station. And I've now rigged this up so that it'll go green or red accordingly whichever platform the trains stop at. So if they're on the main line it will change, and if they're on the terminal station they'll also change. So hopefully when I set these off, which I'm about to do, you will see it change to green. So let's push the button and see what happens, shall we? So with the 101 going out of sight and the 121 about to, I shall now take this camera off the tripod and we'll let them get on with whatever they were doing, shall we? So as you can see, this 121 has stopped between the level crossing. I also want to re-stick down some of the track mat that I've used and other bits because they're coming there. Considering they've been up here 3 years or 2 years, it's not doing bad really. But yeah, there's bits that are lifting, especially around the level crossings that need to be sorted. Although I did sort some of this out when I redid the track. So that's another thing to do. And obviously put my fencing back, or new fencing back around the Swan Lake. And anywhere else I can fit it. And as you can see, it's now going up the loop there to get on the outside track. So we'll leave them to get on and I'll show you what I've been up to. So as you saw, I've got this all connected up now and started storing me trains on there again. So I'm quite pleased that I've done this because this was, as you can imagine, trying to get in there with the limited headroom was a right pain. And we'll go around the other side and I'll say what I'd like to do over here as a future thing. The 101 has actually reached the terminal station, is now on the way back, look. It's rather quicker than I thought it would do. And the 121 is actually on the way back to the terminal station north, which is good. So far they've avoided each other. So it concerns this little bit of siding at the end here. And what I'm thinking is, if I extend this only to this beam that you can see, I would be able to get the 411 train on here, which might be a worthwhile thing to do. So I'm thinking about doing this. I mean, it's not a lot of work. The biggest problem is going to be getting some paint. I've run completely out of my paint for this, and I thought I could get some down the road where I had it mixed up before, and they're not in business anymore. So it looks like I've got a 40-mile round trip to a B&Q, which is not ideal, is it? But there we are. I think that didn't last very long. We've got this 101 waiting to go into the terminal station north. But in terminal station north is the 121. And that's waiting to come out, and of course that can't come out. This one's in the way, so that lasted well, didn't it? So I'm going to get one of these or the other running. I'll get the 121 running on its convoluted route, which it did do the other day. So we'll see how we go. So the other thing I've had to do is, I was trying to run the 101 out of this station and it caught here. And what was happening is this platform was actually rising up. I don't know if it's expansion, So I had to put a screw in here and another one down there because it was doing the same down there, which is, I've never had that before, but really strange. So another little job, all little jobs. So we've now got the 121 on its route, and it stops at nearly every station. So we'll let him get, or her, get on with the route. It's going to take quite a while actually. And you might think this light is broke, but it's weird. When you have a fuse and you turn it back on again, none of the lights come on. None of the signals come on. And the only time they come on, unless you turn them on from the control panel, is when it's on auto, and then the minute you've got a train on auto, they light up. So really strange. So that's why this one is out. But no, it is working, I assure you, he says. As we can see, the 121, it's returned back to its terminal. And after it's had a 20-second, I think, stop, it should hopefully set off again for the next leg. There we go. So when they're by themselves, they're okay. But as I will say at the end, the layout's a bit small. So you're probably thinking I've not done an awful lot, and you're probably right. It's all little bits and pieces. And as you can see under here, I have done a bit more wiring. Even today, trying to do this, one of my points was just playing up, and I actually run a complete new set of cables to it because what it had was really thin cable. So, but as you can see, it's a bit of a spaghetti under here again, and I need to tidy this up, which I will do. And you know, have a general sort out and tidy up, and I've still got some soldering to do under here. So just going to go round to the big fiddle yard and I'll show you what I did with the wiring there. Needless to say, I've got my mug of tea here with me, and if I go up to the thermometer, it's 80 degrees in here. It's actually 80, 81, 82. Very warm up here. So when I put my buzz wires in, I didn't actually take them any further than the end of the layout here, but I did leave a little bit of an end sticking over. And what I've actually done is I've run it as far as it will there, which isn't very far, and then I've come off with another, I suppose basically an extension buzz wire, only in the black, because obviously with the red you don't need it here. But I needed to do this tidily, I didn't want it all hanging down, so I've used the ties and the eyes to hold it all up together, as you can see. And you know, it's fairly neat and tidy, so should work. And obviously with these reds, because the reason there's so many reds is obviously you need it to each individual sensor for the blocks. But the blacks can just go to that buzz wire. So we'll follow the 121 on its continuous tortuous route, and it is designed to stop here, although you need a step ladder to get to the platform, but never mind. We can't have everything, can we? And obviously the track work has changed slightly, or rather this station has moved, which made it worse. Now what is strange, at the beginning of this shuttle run, this is what I wanted the 121 to do, which is stop there and then go down on the bit here. But it wouldn't, it just would not, and it would set off the other way. So quite why it did that I don't know. So to overcome that, I stopped it stopping there, and I stopped it just on this bit of platform here, and that worked. But then that caused a problem with the 101. So you can't win, can you? So what projects have we got in the pipeline? So this tube here has been sitting here for quite a long time, bought this quite a long while ago, and I'll show you where that's going to go, hopefully. So in the video of the trains running through here, you might have noticed this portal entrance, and there's another one at the other end, which if you remember, it was rather dark through it. And that tube is a back scene to go on the back of this back scene. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but because I decided to do what I've done, I left off because I didn't want to damage it or whatever. So I don't quite know how it's going to work out. And as you can see, yes, the portal is here. So there's a bit of work to do to integrate that in. I might even actually have to do a bit of scenic work. I don't know. See how we go. And the other two bits I want to do is this tunnel coming out of the field is obviously ridiculous. But it is a train set. But I have an idea of how to disguise this. I was hoping to be able to find a cliff with a very steep edge, but that seems to have proved impossible. So I've thought of another way of doing this, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do the similar down that end where the one is in the corner. And just to keep an eye on the 121, it's there now, stopped at that, and it's just about to come over into the inner track. It will then stop between the level crossings and after a little wait of 5 seconds or so, hopefully go back. But this time coming into this southern terminal station. And there we are. And if I carry across, so I've been having trouble with this point not switching back, and I think it was an ongoing thing right at the beginning, if you remember. And I've tried everything to get it to work. I've even taken the undersurface point motor, one of only 3 that I've actually got on the layout, because I felt it was rather stiff, and I've re-engineered it a bit to make it a lot looser. But it still would not switch at some places, although from other directions it would. So I've overcome this by setting it to set like this when it first starts and asking the system to always switch it back, which it does, and that's proved okay. And then when it does need to go the other way on auto, it does it. So there's always a way round, I suspect. Well, I think to finish this update, what's coming in this little running session, of the 121 all by itself, we'll just follow her or him or it, whichever you prefer, back into the station. And the point I had to rewire was that one into that station, into that terminal station, just would not switch. And I was getting rather irate, I must admit. So that's the end of this, and the next bit is on the clock. What has that got to do with this? So here is the clock that you saw on the thumbnail, and you can see it in the centre of the diagram on the right hand side, and it's not there just to be a pretty face, it's there to actually control the trains if you want, and a lot of other things. And to do that we go to actions, and in this particular case I've got about 4 set bits set up in the left hand side, as you can see, 3 of them being ticked, which means they're active. So this will be the first one to go, and this is the 4MT in the sidings there to go to the other sidings right where I'm operating this
computer from. So as you can see, it says 10:32 on a Monday, so not a lot of good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the clock up to the right time. So let's do that first, shall we? So by double clicking on this clock down here, we bring up the clock setting. And if we go to the correct time and say OK, watch the clock. There we are, and that's the time it is at the moment. So we go back to the actions again, and we're going to reset this one. So I want it to go, I'm going to give myself time to set it up. So and also obviously don't want it on Monday because it's Tuesday today. And Bob Fowler, who's really helped with this, he even got this wrong. He put the wrong day in on his and it didn't work, and it doesn't. So it can be a bit problematical. So I reset this. I should have highlighted it. I did it later on, but I'm not going to show you all that because time is getting on. Sorry the pun. And we're going to set this to 09 when I get my fingers working. .09:05 I think will do. Give us a little while. And there we are. And put Tuesday in and then apply it, and as you can see it's changed up here, ready to go. So we need to get the others in, these other two, and set them to go probably a couple of minutes ago. So we'll go out of this now, and we'll get it ready to go. And you can see all the different things that this particular action editor can do. So I think that'll do for the time being. You've already seen how we set it, so don't think we need any more. So obviously go back to time. I'll find it. There it is. So we're just coming up to 4 minutes past 9, and obviously everything starts at 5 past. And to watch this go round for a minute is a very long time, so we'll stop now. And as you can see, I've moved my overhead camera again and got a bit more of the layout in it. And as you can see, we have all the participants in place, except you can't see the 121 because it's behind the canopy. But I very stupidly didn't push the record button for the 4MT leaving, so this will have to be what we see for that one. But first of all, let's set the scene for the others, shall we? So we've got the cube camera on the platform, which is it's quite a good view. I quite like this. And as you can see, we've got the 101 to our left and the 121 just about peeping out. So let's get started. And it's all kicking off, and the 4MT is about to go. Just watch. So it departed promptly at 5 past 9 on a Tuesday morning. And here it's finishing its route, believe it or not. And as we come into here very slowly to go to siding number 9, we'll actually hear the bubble car getting ready to go. The scenery is getting in the way. So, time for the bubble car to make its progress. That's 7 minutes past 9. And away she goes. We pick her up on the way. And we'll do a nice stop here. This is further into the route. And it was at that point where the 101's time was due at 9 minutes past 9. Bit of a sudden takeaway. It's because the sound's on. It's far gentler without the sound on. Kind of a bit strange. So just see that from a different angle. Anybody standing up would have been on the floor. And the 101 makes her way out onto the inner line. Meanwhile, the bubble car has just come to a halt and is going into the siding, into the terminal platform. All the while, the bubble car is the 101 is being held up. And now that the bubble car is out the way, the 101 can carry on its route. So that worked really well. And the 101 carries on in its journey. So now a quick look at what happens when a video takes off, even on a small channel like mine. Hope you'll enjoy this. It's only a few photos. So just a few pictures here of what happened when this the last video took off, the one that was behind me when I was talking to you. And as you can see, this is my analytics. And you can see how it shot up, and that's where it started on the Friday at the 7 o'clock. And there's where it was sort of around about now, so to speak. And if we look at the graph there, you can see how it just sort of took off. And that's what happens when you get a mega one. But even with this small amount, it still shows. And that was the time I took it, and it has actually gone up even more since I did this. So it's now at about 1,600, which is magic for me. And then it went back down to 35 and then carried on up again. So very strange indeed. So now let's have some more of the trains running, different shots. So this is what goes on behind the scenes of the back scene. So I'll just let you watch these. I've got quite a few bits. Hope you like them. This was with it in the tunnel, and it was a bit dark, isn't it? It goes across the end of the layout and disappears, and there it goes. And look, the 101's waiting to come, which you wouldn't have if you had a bigger layout. You could actually keep it back too, and that works quite well. And there's the 411 and the Hattons, not the Hattons, the Hornby 66. Oh, and look, there's the HST. And yes, I know it's a little bit out of sequence, but obviously this Polus rail is going round and round and round, so you will tend to get this. And this is what happens when it goes through that tunnel entrance. That's as far as it gets while it's got to wait for the 101 to carry on. Didn't have to wait very long though. Now, if you've seen the Hattons 66, they've got 6, so at the moment this is the only 66 I've got. So the N7 and its travels. And I think that channel entrance is falling down. So here's the 101 coming along, making its way along. And this one I think disappears out of shot. Or maybe not. Anyway, this one does actually stop there, which is quite good. And you can see it's just sitting there with the other one waiting to come. And there it goes, and this time you'll see the light change. There we go. As it makes its way across the end of the layout again. The view from the between the level crossings. And here it comes.
Back to my usual trick with the TV behind. It's quite an easy way of getting a back screen or, you know, a blue screen behind you. And as this is really, I've got iTrains working, and to a certain extent it's working quite well. So it's a turning point. Behind me is my first ever video that I put up. What's this, about 3 years ago? Over 3 I think. And it's still there, you can still see it. It was all shot on my Panasonic film camera basically, all in one shot, all 10 minutes of it. So not very good, but as I've said before, you've got to start somewhere. So I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and yes, it's taken a bit of time, and it's taken me a long time to make it, as you've seen, because I've put 2 videos out since I managed to get this one done. So summing up, as I said earlier, alluded to earlier in the video, the layout really is too small to make it work as well as you could get it to work. I can only allow basically one section between trains, and normally you would probably do 2, but I can't do it. If I do 2, it'll all sit there not going anywhere. But I am delighted that I've done it. It certainly made a whole new layout really. You know, I do things now that I would never have done before, and I quite enjoy doing the computer work that you need to do. So as I said, I'm not now going to do a video every week. I'm just finding it too much. I've done it for 3 years nearly, and it's just too much now. I'm getting a bit older. Summer's coming up. We've got hedges to cut and grass to keep mown and cars to wash and whatever. And sort of clean the house a bit as well. Wouldn't be a miss, I don't think. So I've got a lot of jobs to do, as you've seen in here, little jobs and big jobs. And I think what I'm going to do is if I have something that is worth looking at, I'll try and do a little video on it, okay? And I'll probably certainly go out in the patio again and have a go. and you obviously will want to see what happened to the Hatton 66. Did I get it back, and you know, did it work? I don't know. I still don't know at this stage. I'm going to, if I can, get some work done, and I won't necessarily do any filming of it, because some of it will be really, well, even more boring than maybe some of this was been. But I hope you've enjoyed what I've done. I know it's rather long, but it might have to last you a little while, so that's why I've done it. Your comments would be helpful, and any advice really, if you've got any advice, especially people that do iTrains, you know. So one of the things I do obviously need to do is to get more locomotives into iTrains, and that's part of what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably just show you the bit of track I use to do it, because I will be doing it actually upstairs in the loft, not down on the table like I did all the others, so that could be quite interesting, I don't know. So waffling on as usual. So I want to finish this video off. As I've said earlier, I think I'd like to thank all my subscribers, new ones that have come on, and all my old ones that support me. And I hope you'll, even if there is a bit of a gap now between videos, you'll still support me and stay subscribed. That would be rather nice if you could do that for me. So cheers everybody. Cheers, and enjoy your summer. And it's really hot in the loft at this time of year, so it's another reason for not going up there too much, I think. Cheers everybody. Cheers. Bye.